Welcome into the New Zealand Herald and a rugby update from Rugby Direct. Elliott Smith with me, Liam Napier. Plenty going on in the rugby world. We are days out from the All Blacks naming their Rugby Championship squad to go to Argentina first and foremost, and then South Africa home, and then Australia get home and away. Plenty of interest obviously in that squad. We had an update earlier in the week, Liam, around some of the injuries, so that leaves with the All Blacks with a few spots to fill. They need a halfback with Noah Hotham out, loose forward Luke Jacobson out, and tight head prop with Terrell Lomax out of the mix as well. So first and foremost, where do they start in adding some of those new players into the mix? Who comes in?
There's some big ins for the All Blacks, aren't there? Tamaiti Williams and Wallace Satiti coming back, two dynamic, powerful offloading forwards, so that'll seriously bolster the All Blacks pack. And elsewhere, I think you're looking at people like a Peter Lakai coming back for Wellington this weekend. He was listed as injured during the July series. 20-year-old loose forwards, I think he's maybe 22 now, certainly the future there. And then tight head prop Tyrell Lomax is a big loss, isn't he? Starting tight head. We haven't seen too much of him in recent times, but maybe George Dyer, I think your eagle eye spotted him in training in the All Blacks camp, so maybe he comes into the mix there.
Yeah, third halfback's an interesting one, isn't it? Because they've been quite set on this combination for the last 12 months or so. After TJ Perenara left, it was obvious that Noah Hotham was coming in as the third halfback, but there's no one screaming out as the obvious next cab off the rank. Finlay Christie has been around obviously the All Blacks before, some reports linking him to maybe going to Newcastle after this season. He's captaining Tasman in the NPC this year. Falau Fakatava's played a couple of tests, Xavier Rowe out of Waikato, but no one going, pick me. So where do you go to for that third halfback role for this tour?
It's a great shame for Noah Hotham. He came off the bench and had a great cameo, I thought, in Hamilton, his home. He grew up there before going, turning
to the promised land.
Something like that, and going to the Crusaders. So unfortunate timing for him. He's out for probably the entirety of the Rugby Championship. So look, I would go for Kyle Preston. I really like what he brings. Wellington halfback, kicks off both feet, quite dynamic, young guy, but yeah, I think they probably will go for Finlay Christie, a bit of experience to complement the blend that they already have. Interesting to see if he does take up that option with Newcastle and head north. He's of course Scottish born, hasn't played for the All Blacks for a couple of years, so maybe that plays on his mind, but the All Blacks certainly need a halfback, and they're all chasing Cam Roigard, so they wouldn't want to lose him.
A little bit left field, but I would look at maybe a Leroy Carter for this series. He can play wing, he's played a lot of halfback for Bay of Plenty. He's dynamic. He can't have been far off the squad in the first place for a wing cover. I reckon if you're getting down to your fourth, fifth halfback choice, why not give Leroy Carter a go? Do you think there's room for Simon Parker, incidentally, in the squad? He's coming back playing for the Taniwha this weekend. A lot of buzz around him at the end of Super Rugby. Could you find room for him in this squad?
Might be a bit too soon, but I think they'll certainly look at him. He's the big body that they want in the loose forward mix. I think maybe the end of year tour, his time will come, but probably a bigger squad for that trip north, the Grand Slam tour. But he certainly put himself on the radar, didn't he, for what he was doing with the Chiefs this year. Big raw bones, both sides of the ball impact, and I think that number 6 jersey is still reasonably up for grabs, although we expect the All Blacks to go back to Tupu Vai and continue that experiment throughout the Rugby Championship.
Indeed we do. The Lions tour ongoing across the Tasman. A question for you, how would this All Black side fare against this Lions side in theory?
Yeah, very interesting question. The All Blacks traditional slow starters, so maybe the Lions sneak the first one, but I'd actually back this All Black team to win a series against the Lions. I think this Lions team, the series has been massively overhyped, overblown. I think the Wallabies have only won something like 3 of their last 10 tests against Tier 1 nations, so a bit of perspective needed around winning a series in Australia and where that sits in the great Lions team throughout history.
Lions tour overhyped? Surely not. Finally, before we go, Rugby Championship, not far away, as we've mentioned. Who goes in as favourites for this year's competition? I'm going South Africa. It's the obvious choice. They're still the world champions. They were very, very good last year. They're building depth at an alarming rate from a New Zealand point of view. They've got a lot of depth coming through. So where do you go to? Are the Springboks the Rugby Championship favourites?
The All Blacks should be, because they have the advantage, massive advantage of hosting the Springboks for 2 tests here, and that includes the Mecca or whatever it is about Eden Park. So very interesting to see whether the Springboks can break the All Blacks 50 match unbeaten run at Eden Park. But I think you're right, the Springboks are world champions, Rugby Championship champions. The All Blacks, incidentally, Elliot, have never failed to win the Rugby Championship title 2 years in a row. So a bit of pressure on Razor's men to bounce back from last year, isn't there?
Indeed there is. Well, you can follow it every step of the way on the New Zealand Herald across the next few weeks, and of course through the Rugby Direct podcast as well. We look forward to your company again soon.